Hey YouTube, welcome back to my channel. My name is Dion. I call this channel the Crazy Troll Nation of YouTube. I call this chapstick, and this is cotton candy, scented and flavored. I pulled it at random. This video, you know what we're doing. You know I've been going in hot with this palette, which is not usual. When I usually get a palette, I do run through it to use all the shades, get everything done, and then I can form an opinion of the overall palette. On my face, Fenty Brow Pencil, of course, the only one I use. Fenty primer today, and the Fenty foundation. I wear shade 335. That's all I have on my face right now. No, it's not. I'm lying to you, and I apologize for that. Lower lash line, NYX retractable eyeliner, and this is in the color gray. And on my lower and upper inner rims, also known as the waterline, also known as tight lining, is the Prime Prometics eyeliner in black. So that's what we have going on right now. I'm super excited for this look. This is look number 5, and a member suggested it as an idea because they know it's not what I do. And I'm like, we gonna do it. And so that's one of the perks. The main perk for me of membership is you get to submit a request and I do it. Or even if it's just an idea, I will do it. Even if I don't think it'll come out well. Y'all have seen some of my looks. Y'all seen my first look with this palette. Y'all know I will try some new things. And I do always encourage you all to try new things and to come out of your comfort zone. And that's what this is doing for me. That's what that number 1 look did for me. I don't even know if I want to keep counting that look. But anyway, let me get to the intro. Fenty eyeshadow primer. I call this the Crazy Troll Nation of YouTube. Enjoying your channel, enjoying the videos you do, knowing it's okay to be your authentic self, not trying to emulate someone else, just knowing it's okay to be you. Like, your people will find you. Sometimes it seems like it takes a long time, but your people will find you. Know it's okay to be you. We're bringing out the primer again because I'm trying to, this palette is making me just want to try new things. After this look, I'm going to do my overall thoughts about this palette because we will have used every shade multiple times, which is always my goal when I first get a palette, not to just use a couple shades and then give a review, because like, you only use a handful of shades. What are you reviewing? Just those handful of shades? So anyway, I get detoured too and sidetracked. The Crazy Troll Nation, enjoying your time on YouTube, enjoying the videos you do, knowing it's okay to be yourself. The troll part is not caring too much about the beauty community standards. You set the standard for yourself. Try not to feel like you need to use a particular brand or a particular tool or even a particular technique. Use what you want to, how you want to get your makeup on in the way that you want to. And in my case, even when it doesn't turn out how I want to, just know it's okay because we had fun experimenting behind every look. Whether it comes out the way we want to or not, there's a lesson to be learned, and that's the important thing. Experiment because you can learn what you like, what you don't like, what you want to do again, what is like, hell no, I ain't doing that again. I need to tell you, I do curse on my channel sometimes because I curse sometimes, period. So that's the concept of the Crazy Troll Nation. What do we stand for here? Self-acceptance and self-love. Embracing your natural features, enhancing them if you want to, when you want to, but never feeling like you have to. Love yourself for who you are and for how you look, even without face paint on. And I know sometimes it sounds like I say with face paint on, but I think I'm just like talking so fast or Russian or something. But love yourself for who you are and for how you look, even without face paint on. That is the concept of the Crazy Troll Nation. And I did just tell you that I curse sometimes. So we're going to get into look number 5. And so we're going to we're using this big fluffy brush. I pulled out brushes last night. I did a picture on Instagram of the 3 looks that I did, number 2, number 3, and number 4, all the brushes. And so I pulled out brushes from what was left, even though I still had a whole lot left. So that's why we're using this one, because but now the other ones are dry. Let me just get to it. We're going to take, I'm not going to say what the look is because I really don't know if it's going to come out that way, but we're going to take Blizzard. I feel like I'm yelling. I am like so excited. My mood is so different than yesterday and I'm still really exhausted and I have not had Mountain Dew, so I really don't understand what's happening to me. You know what? My hormones are still just doing what, just being difficult. Well, not to say difficult, you know, they do what they do. We're going to take Blizzard, which is described as a matte light gray. This is going to go all over the lid. I didn't do the face because I am anticipating fallout, which we have had. And so I will clean that up. And because we're going to layer some of the sparkling foiled shades over top of this, there is going to be fallout because the sparkling shades are not going to be sticking to the primer. So this, I'm not going to say it's a mistake, because we can clean it up. But I do think, well, I know from previous looks, the sparkling shades do adhere to this primer for me. And so when I put down a shadow and layer it, the shadow, the sparkling shadow or the metallic has nothing to stick to. You know what I'm saying? And so that's why I don't set my primer like some people do. My lids are not oily, they're not dry, they're just regular troll lids for me. But I wanted to see if the color of the sparkling shades would be altered by having this base underneath. And I am still going to do more looks with this palette, y'all. Even though this is look number 5, we're going to move on to other stuff, but we're going to come back to it because I do want to try it over. I did put it over one of the black shades, or I think it might have been Nice Guy, I think, or Ebb, which is this, which showed the blue, which was really nice. But so I don't feel an urgency to put it over like the MAC Paint Pot Black Mirror, which is a black, because we put some of these shadows over something that's similar to a black. But I do want to see what some of these will look like over a brown, and also Macro Violet MAC Paint Pot, which is a purple, especially with this shade, to see if it'll pull out the pink. It does. The first look I did, it did show it pink. I think it depends on where you place it, what you place it near, of course, your complexion, your undertone, you know, the lighting, you know, that type of thing. So a lot of things go into how something's going to look like on you. So we have this there. This shows up, and you know what? It's not making me look ashy. And this is matte light gray, and it went on really smooth. I made sure to get up here. We're not doing a traditional transition shade, and so I wanted to make sure that we had shadow up here. And I do take my lid shades up high because my mobile lid is only from my lash line to the crease. And so if I only put shadow right here for the lid, when I look up, you'll only see a sliver. But once I put my eyeliner on, you won't even see the sliver. And so that's why I take my lid shades all the way up, so that when I look up, you can still see the lid shades. And that goes to putting on your makeup how you want to, how you think it looks best on you. What you think is more important than what somebody else thinks. And so this is just the way that I found that I like my eyeshadow to look. When I was doing the YouTuber's way, transition crease, you wasn't seeing my lid shade. And when I would recreate some looks doing it the troll way, which is what I call my way, taking the lid shades up, I like the looks a lot better because you're seeing more of the shades. And even if I do a transition shade, that'll be up here, so you still see the lid shade here, and then the transition shade here, and then brow bone if I did a brow bone. And so if I'm going to put on shadow, like, I do want it to be seen, not for attention, but like, why do the work if it's not noticed, or if I can't even see it? You know what I mean? Anyway, let's move on. Now we're going to take Stellar, this shade right here, and this is described as Sparkling Wet Effect White. We're going to use a wide brush because we're doing a wide area, and I found that initially I thought I needed a smaller brush, even though they're both like kind of dense. They're both really soft, but dense shader brushes. And I was thinking I needed a smaller one to give me more control or whatever, but I found that the shadows apply, and there's the shadow. They apply just as well with the Hourglass number 3. If I'm doing a smaller area, then I'll use the smaller brush. But since this is going on 2/3 of the lid, and hopefully it'll stick, I am tapping off. So we're going to see what it's going to do. Sparkling white effect, I am just expecting over this gray that it will just be a sparkle. And it's giving us a sparkle. I want to say something about this palette. Natasha's packaging does reflect what's inside. Oh, dropped it on the floor. Got another one. Clean one. Starry, Snowy Night. That's what you get. And so I'm just saying that to say, if you look at all of her packaging, excuse me, the packaging reflects what's inside. And so I know there's still, 50 Shades of Grey, which isn't that bad. I'm involved in that community. But anyway, you're going to get what you see on the outside of the palette. And this is just, what was that? Blizzard by itself. This is with Stellar on top. So you are just getting that sparkle, which is kind of cute. If that's what you want. I also want to say, I know I mentioned in my swatch video, people are saying it's a great palette. We knew it was a great palette if you saw the pictures. You saw the swatches. If you went on the website, you saw descriptions of the shadow names. Excuse me, I don't know what I was going to say. I was going to say shade names. So we knew what the shadows were. So I don't understand why is this the surprise or the disappointment that there's grays and whites in here and only one metallic black and a deeper shade. What is this one? And this is a charcoal shade. That's not black. This is, what shade is this? This is Ebb, and this is described as a metallic dark blue. So the only black is this one, and it's metallic. So if people would have just looked at the website, looked at the swatches, looked at the shade descriptions, we knew what this palette was. But I remember saying about the repetition in this palette, which one of her palettes don't have repetitive shades? And I talked about Retro Glam because I have that one and I was able to show you the similar shades in that palette. And what else did I talk about? Oh, I neglected to mention Retro, which was just all sorts of reds and burgundies and browns. I forgot to mention the bronze palette. The whole thing was different shades of bronze. And what else? Even her larger palettes, the ones that are like $200-something, there's, I think, the green, brown, and the blue, purple. The green, brown is all green and browns. The blue, purple is all blues and purples. Metropolis palette, some people, I loved it because even the repetitive shades, those were shades that I love and I did use them a lot. But if you look at the gold palette, y'all, people love that gold palette. You take out the two blues, it's all golds and tans. And so why is it a problem that there's repetitive shades in here? All of her palettes have that. So I'm just saying that to say, just pay attention. I can't even say pay attention because we've seen them. And what I think it comes down to is now we're going to take Crew or Grew, which is somewhere. I do have fallout because when I look down, I can see sparkles on my face. This is Crew or Grew Sparkling Metallic Iron Gray. What it comes down to, in my opinion, and this is going to go on the outer lid, is if those are shades that you like. If you like bronze tones, you're going to love the bronze palette. You're not going to care it had repeat shades. Just like I said with Metropolis, it was a lot of repeat tans, light browns. I could use those transition, deepen up outer corner, whatever. I didn't care. I really love that palette, and I wish they would bring it back because I would buy a fresh one even though I did dupe it out with MAC singles. But people were, hoping that the gold palette would come back. When it did, they were buying it. It sold out again. It's all gold and tans, minus the two blues. And so I think it's just, if those are the shades you like, it's not a problem. If you don't like grays, then this is going to be a problem. And so it just comes down to personal preference. And so I'm saying this to say, when you're watching videos, think about why they're saying what they're saying. Did they not know it was gray? If you know grades are not your tones, you're not going to like this palette. I didn't think I was going to like this palette as much as I do, and I'll talk about that later at the end when I wrap up my thoughts. But it's, we rationalize and justify what we like, and we rationalize and justify what we don't like. I'll just leave that there. So if grades are your tones, you're going to love this palette. If they're not, you're going to be kind of upset or disappointed that it's all gray. But then, I almost fell into the hype and the FOMO of wanting a gold palette. And I'm like, I don't even really, golds just blend into my undertone because my undertone leans warm. And so I was like, I wouldn't to me, it was like one note. But people swear by the different formulas, blah, 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 blah. And even with I Need a Nude, that's repetitive as hell. But they're like, oh, the formula, the wet sparkling effect, blah, blah, blah. But that's because they like that color. You know what I mean? So it made a difference. And I will say there is something to the different formulas, even though the sparkling wet formulas, I think it does diminish the look of the shadow, the color itself, because there's so much of the shine. You see the shine and not necessarily the shadow color. And, you know, so just that, those are just things to think about. And you like what you like, you don't like what you don't like. But to be disappointed, we saw what it was before it came out. And yes, some people did say this looks more pink. It looked more pink in the promo pictures. And even now, like right now, this doesn't look pink. But when I put it this way, it looks pink. This does look blue. But then up here, you might think, you know, it's like an off black or something. You know what I'm saying? So it does look like the promo pictures to me. But anyway, that's what I'm going to say about that. And not that I'm defending the palette, because it doesn't need to be defended. And I'm not saying all this because I actually am enjoying playing with it. But I'm just like, why are you surprised? All of her palettes have redundant shades. Every single one of them. Every single one. So like, why is this an issue now? Now we're going to take Sposh, which is in the center of the palette, this shade here. And this is a matte cream to powder charcoal. And this is going to go on our lower lash line. So just some things to think about. And it's okay. If you don't like it, it's okay. If you like it, it's fine. I don't think, you know, we need to defend why we like what we like or why we don't like what we don't like. Because it's your money. You're spending your money on whatever you get. So you don't have to justify your reasons to anybody. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, I know sometimes we just want to do that because we want to feel understood. We want to feel heard and validated and all of that. And I do understand that. I do understand that. So as you can see, we're doing a wing here. And so I'll tell you now, the idea was a reverse smoky eye, which is where the top of your lid is more or less like this. And your lower lash line is where all the smoke is. Instead of doing a heavy smoke liner up top, do the heavy smoke liner at the bottom. And so I was like, I've never done it before. I never done anything like that look number one before. But I thought, you know what? I'm going to do it. So thank you, Official Troll fam, for this suggestion, the idea. It wasn't an official request, but I said, you know what? I'm going to do it. And I have never... And I thought to trace out the wing first. And I said, I'm going to just use the shadow. Because I do see quite a few looks. And even Natasha herself, like she traces... I'm not going to say traces out. But she does her liner work first. Which does kind of map out the look. Because then she blends it out. But then other people too, some other professional makeup artists, they do the liner first too. And then they do the shadows, blend it out, and do everything else. And then at the end, they'll go back and put, you know, more liner for upper lash line or whatever. So it is a thing. And so, oh no, man. This is kind of looking like that first look, even though it's not white. Was it white? I don't know what it was, but it was crazy, and I posted it anyway, and I put it on my Instagram, because you know what? Just try new things. Just try new things, and that's what I hope to encourage you to do. So we're going to take another shade. I do have Fall Out, and it's warm in here. Y'all, why is it like 76 degrees in here? It is ridiculous. So I'm going to put more foundation on later. We're going to take right now Ebb, this shade here. This is going to go on the first half of the lower lash line. And we're using a short stubby eyeliner brush. And so with this one, we are just kind of wiggling it in, and that is going to go right here. So we're just deepening what this is looking like. And I don't think we are winging something else. Shoot. So this is just to add dimension to Sposh, that first shade, and smoke it down. Oh, wow. Wow. This is very different for me. I think I'm still going to do a black liner or gray upper lash line, because I did look up reverse smoky eyes. Some had liner up top and some didn't. I'm going to put liner up top. I think I'm going to do a gray though, because that'll not be as stark as a black. So the purpose is to have the bottom lash line smokier than the top. And I do think this came down way too far. So let me bring this down. I think I'm going to take a blending brush later and just kind of buff. Surprisingly, this eye isn't tearing like it normally does when I pull it down, or over here. And you can see it's all wet on the inside. So I think I'm going to just take a blending brush later and just buff this down. Y'all, this is new for me. Now we're going to take Night Sky, this shade right here. And that's going to go on the outer half of our lower lash line, and we're going to bring that out as well. So we're more or less just trying to bring it straight, but sometimes my straights end up swooshes, and I know it's just the way my hand is, or what I'm doing with my hand, or turning my wrists or something. I know I'm doing it because I'm the only one doing my makeup, but I have to make a conscious effort just to go straight. Y'all, let me know. Let me know. I think I'll like it better. I like it because it's different. And y'all know I like different. I think I will like it a little bit better once I put the gray on the upper lash line. But this is definitely new for me. I'm glad that I'm doing this. So thank you again for the idea. And this palette does have a lot of shimmer shades to put on the lid. This eye is starting to tear. Fuck, I can feel it. I can feel it. And so you see how these being gray, this is blue. And so I do, oh, I almost dropped that brush. We're going to go back to this first shade. We're not adding shadow on it, but we're going to just blend right here because it's looking, well, it is lighter. Not by much though. What color was that? That was Ebb. So this is first half lower lash line. This is second half lower lash line. And Ebb is sparkling dark, metallic dark gray blue. And Night Sky is metallic black. So why was I thinking this one was going to be blue? And I'm talking about, look, it's blue. It ain't blue. Yo, I say stuff and I could be so wrong. And what's funny is sometimes I think y'all know exactly what I mean. Like, even when I say something wrong, I think y'all know exactly what I be trying to say. That's kind of scary. But, so these are the colors. This is the look. I'm going to take this blending brush. I am sweating. It's ridiculous. There's no shadow on this brush. I think I might have just said that. It is ridiculous how warm it is in here. And I do have the window open in my bedroom. I have my balcony sliding door open. And I have a fan over there so it'll blow the air in and circulate it. I keep the fan tilted upward so the air will just, go up and keep it circulated. And it does help. I used to have an oscillating fan over here, but the fan in my bedroom, the oscillating fan in my bedroom broke months and months ago. So the fan that was here is now in my bedroom. So there's not an oscillating fan over here anymore. And I can feel a difference. But I used to turn it off before videos anyway because I was able to hear it in the video. Now we're going to take another blending brush, no shadow on it. Do I want to take a more dense one than this one? Yes. We're going to take this blending brush. Let me make sure it ain't wet. And we're just going to, you know what I should do? We're going to take Flurry. Do I want to take Flurry or Snurt? Let me just blend it first and see. There's no shadow on this brush. And so we're seeing if, yeah, this is blowing it down. So we're not going to put shadow under there. I'm still trying to think of like what to mix this palette with, and I'm thinking nothing. And so now I'm thinking like what to do with Retro Glam, because half the shades don't work. Natasha Denona, her website has amazing Black Friday deals, and so I'm like, do I want to get like I Need a Nude, take the shades out of there I like and put in Retro Glam, or what? You know what I'm saying? So I'm really just kind of stuck right now on what to do with Retro Glam, because I do like at least, I think 7, maybe 8 of the shades in there, so I don't want to ditch the whole palette, but I also don't want, you know, the other half of the palette to just go unused, because then it annoys me to see shadows and it's like, why are you here? I don't like you, I'm not going to use you, you know what I mean? And so, and I could just get an empty compact and put it in there, but I like it being in the Natasha palette though. I like things to be in what it says it is. Like, I'm not good at, you know, if I had single shadows and they're in the palette, I'm like, what is this? Where is this from? But that's just a me thing. So this is our reverse smoky eye. I am going to take a gray. We're going to be sensible. We're going to take Midnight Snack. It's a gray. We're going to put this on our upper lash line. And I'm thinking, I was thinking if I could take one of these shades for upper lash line, but we're just going to use the gray because this will be easier than trying to put a shadow up there, I think. And let me move these brushes. Excuse me for that hesitation. So I can have room to put my elbow on the table. Hopefully I can get a thin line. After I do this, we're going to talk about this palette and what I think so far, having used all the shades multiple times, what I think about it. I think you already know I've had fun playing with it, even though all the looks I didn't like. Look number 4, when I did those silver lines under my brow, I didn't like that part. But with experimenting, I learned that I didn't like that silver in this part of the brow. I should have just put it like right here. So just experiment, because for me, and I think it may be true for you too, that's how you learn what you like and what you don't like, and do more of what you like and less of what you don't like. You see what I'm saying? So this is no liner up top. This is liner up top. And I was able to get a thin line. I am liking this MAC brush. I did buy 2 more. And they sent it in a huge box with a lot of packaging. And I'm like, Ulta needs to learn that. 2 little brushes and a sample makeup removal cleanser in a huge box with a lot of paper in it, above and below and beneath. And they had the brushes. One brush, when I tilted the packaging, when I took it out of the box, it fell out. The other brush, I'm just like, where's the brush? And so I'm like opening, you know, all the packaging because it's so tiny. Look at this brush. And it was so much paper. I'm like, don't tell me this brush ain't in here, but it was hiding. But I am really digging this brush, and I just feel like this line is thicker than the other side. I don't know if it is or not. I have to make a point to get close to my lash line, because sometimes I realize I'm not close to the lash line. So I am digging that. And so what we're also going to do, where did I put my eyeliner? Oh, they're right here next to me. You know what I'm gonna do? You know what, I'm gonna still just take this. I was gonna take the NYX gray and put that here, but I'm gonna just still use Midnight Snack. And so we're gonna just bring this out just a little bit. Just a little bit, not much. Because reverse liner, I just wanna fill in what looked like it was a gap, like right here. I don't know, y'all. Y'all let me know if you've seen reverse smoky eye looks. Let me know if I got it. It is very different for me because y'all know I like more color than this. But that's the idea of a reverse smoky eye, is all the smoke is at the bottom. So in that sense, I think I got it. I do. I think this could be sharper, and I could clean that up with like concealer or, you know, whatever. But we'll see when I put the extra foundation in there to clean up my mess and the fallout. But sometimes I'm just okay with things not being perfect, because who's to say what perfect is? You know what I'm saying? I'm just excited that I tried something new and it doesn't look completely busted. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to take some more foundation. I'm going to clean up under eye. And this palette screams black lip. So we're going to do a black lip. And I'm not sure. I think I might put this on top of, no, because that pool's kind of green. So I'll figure out what to put on top of it. I might just take Flash Dance. And we're going to do face stuff, and we'll be right back. This is our finished look, y'all. Y'all know I'm digging the lip. So let me tell you what I did. We used we did put on more foundation underneath here. We used the Hourglass Veil Translucent Setting Spray all over the face. We went into the Snake palette. I was going to say Tiger, but it's the Snake palette. And we use this as a bronzer. Y'all, this shows up. That's this right here that you see and up here. Like this shows up. For me. We use this as a bronzer. This time we went into this one as a blush. We use this as a highlight. This is the only quote-unquote highlighter in the palette. And this is Radiant Light we use as a finishing powder. And I did use this one in here versus using my single compact one. So that's what we did with that. And then we lined my lips again. I'm getting the hang of it again. NYX Suede Matte Lip Liner in Alien, which is black. MAC's Caviar Matte Retro Matte Liquid Lipstick. And just on the center, we tapped Pat McGrath Gloss Flash Dance. And then we used the Dior Show number 288 mascara, which is blue. But for me, it shows up black. So that's what we did. Before I get into my thoughts about the palette really quick, I should do this in a separate thing for those who don't make it this far. The NYX Suede Matte Lip Liners, they are pencil liners. They are not creamy, they are not soft, but for me, they go on smooth, and because my lips are not dry, there's no tugging, there's no pulling, but there are creamy lip liners out there, but for me, they tend to bleed. I don't mind the NYX one not being creamy. I don't have a problem applying it, and why I don't mind it is because they're very inexpensive. And Ulta always has those coupons, and once in a while NYX will have, you know, an amazing sale. So I don't mind that it's not the creamiest thing. So if you're looking for an inexpensive lip liner just to get it on and know it's going to stay, I do recommend the NYX Suede Matte Lip Liners. It's not retractable, so I do have to sharpen it, which I do now because I've been using it quite often lately. Let me get into my thoughts about the look. It is very different for me. I liked it better once I put the liner on the upper lash line. I do think I nailed, I'm thinking of Tanya and Arlene now. They're nailed or felled. I think it's felled it or nailed it collab that they do. I think I nailed the Smoky, reverse Smoky eyeshadow look. I think I nailed it. I did have a thought when I was doing the face to bring this shade, like to bring it in, but then I thought it would turn into a bat wing. And so this way it looks like it's straight. When I look down, it still looks like it's straight. It doesn't go in, it doesn't swoosh, it doesn't do anything like that. And so I really like that it doesn't, I didn't do the swoosh. It doesn't look like a bat wing. It looks the same this way as it does this way. And that's what I like about it. And so thank you again, my official troll fam who gave me that idea. And I am glad that I did it. Let me get into I keep looking like that brush I dropped is going to go somewhere. Let me get into my thoughts about this palette. This is our 5th look. Again, I don't know if I should even count the first one. I am enjoying this palette. I'm enjoying it because even though it does look like repetitive shades, and they may show up the same on you, like the light gray and the medium gray, but when I put them on, I can see a difference. And also, I can choose, you know, do I want to just use this one to buff out, or do I want this one to like deepen just a tiny bit? And it doesn't look ashy on me. And even this shade, which is Flurry, it didn't look ashy on me. It does still have a purpose. I will say, for the most part, Natasha's shadows, excuse me for that glare, they do show up true to pan on me, except for her sparkling foiled and the sparkling wet shades, you do just see a lot of the sparkle. Call me a hypocrite. If you do, I own it. I know I've said quite a few times, I'm not about the high shine shimmer because I like the dark. I like the smoky. Do I got lipstick on my teeth already? No. I like the messy grunge. And so the high shine shimmer doesn't always appeal to me. Or when they're like, this is not as shiny as this shadow, this is not as sparkly, like I don't really care. But I'm liking it in this palette, and maybe it's because it's the palette overall. In the Yucca palette, those sparkly shades, 2 looked identical on the lid, and another 2 looked identical on the lid. And I think because it was just so sparkly, it diminished the color of the actual shadow because you just see the shine. But for this one, for me, I see the shine and I also see some of the color. Like, this is not really a color. This is a white, sparkling wet effect white. And we did place it over the gray. And so this does look like a night sky. When you look at my lid, it looks like a night sky. So for me, this palette does what it was intended to do, and it does give a nice effect. Now, is this something I'll do all the time? Not meaning the reverse smoky eye, but is this something I'll do all the time? No, but I know I can do it, and it'll be easy to just pick up this palette and do it with it. I've had fun with this. I like how this does show up pink. I'm excited to see if using a purple eyeshadow base will bring out the pink in that. I like how this shows up blue. I like how this shows up the color that it is. Wait a minute, Ebb isn't blue. This is a dark blue. Nice Sky, I keep wanting to say is blue, but it's not. It's a metallic black. This one in the middle is a charcoal. They do show up different on me, but are they different enough for some people to be okay with spending $69 minus 20% discount, because you can get it for 20% discount for this palette? And so I think it was like 58 bucks or something I paid for this palette, I think. And so for me, it does what it does. And for me, the shadows do show up, and even the other looks that I did, you can see, I was able to see the nuances in the shadows, even with the sparkly shades. One of the looks, I put 2 different sparkly shades on the lid, and they look very similar. If you want to just stare and just be like, you can tell it was a difference, but you don't want to strain to have to see a difference. And so for some people, they'll say, okay, those are too similar to be in the same palette. And also we did layer, over other shadows too. And so for me, I am enjoying this palette the way it is. I don't know if my feelings will change and I'll say, okay, I'll take out, this shade. I'll take out, maybe even this one. This one I like for inner corners, a matte white. It doesn't do much, but it's just kind of there. So maybe one day I will be like, okay, I'll take out either this one or this one, leave this one, take out one of the shimmery ones because they do look similar, and put something else in here. But for right now, I'm enjoying this the way it is. And maybe because it's new, what I can say though, honestly, is that I'm enjoying this palette because it's motivating me to do different things. It's motivating me, to try new things, to come out of my comfort zone, and that excites me. And not many eyeshadow palettes excite me that way, because usually it's like, okay, outward, inward, dark the light, inward, outward, light the dark, da 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 da. But this one is like, okay, let me really sit down and look at this and figure something out. And even the first look, I've never done that before. Reverse smoky eye, I've never done this before. And so, doing the graphic liner, which didn't turn out well under my brow, I've done it before, but with a different liner, so it looked different. That gray was just too bright for me for this area. But anyway, this motivates me to try new things, and so it's exciting me to use this. And you can say 50 Shades of Gray, but sometimes variations are good. Look at all of her other palettes. Look at bronze. People love bronze. As I mentioned, they love gold. They love retro. That's just all reds and burgundies. They love the green, brown, and the blue, purple. And I'm just like, they're all, to me, I see all one shade. But then they're like, oh, the nuances, the finishes, and blah, blah, blah. So why can't that be said for this palette too? You know what I'm saying? But I am enjoying it. It is definitely unique to my collection. Even though I'm going to show you 2 other palettes that you can dupe this for. One of them being the mini Xenon. But this as a whole, as a 15-pan palette, This is unique to my collection. I have nothing like this in my collection. And I know where to go if I do want the high shine shimmer shimmer wet look, or if I just want like a snow sky look. Because that to me is what this looks like. It's just like a snowy night. Like a blizzard is happening. Is that shade even called Blizzard? No, this one is called Blizzard, and we put this on top of it. But doesn't this look like a blizzard? So this palette is what it says it is, which is true for Natasha's palettes. And also with her palettes, she has a matrix system. She places things in a way where when you look at a palette, you can see looks with it. This quad right here, these 4 can be a look. These 4 can be a look. These 4 over here can be a look. These 4 up here can be a lighter ethereal look. Will they look similar on your lid? Who knows? Try it and see if you have this palette. If you want to do a really simple ethereal look, use this column right here. These 3 shades. So the way it's set up is you have looks. You want to do a simple matte look. This one, and this one come down in a diagonal. Or use this shade, this one and that one come down in a diagonal. Use this column right here all by itself. Use this column all by itself. And so when you look at it, and it's like that for all of her palettes, the majority of her palettes, it's set up in a way where if you just look at the colors and what's around it, it shows you what you can do with it. This quad would be nice. These 4 shades right here, that's a nice little look right there. If you want to add a little bit of color, pop this on the middle. It may turn a pink on you, it may not. It did show a pinkish on me over just the Fenty primer. And so I like this palette. I am glad that I have it. And I'm excited to do more looks with it, but I do feel like I want to keep using it, but part of me is like, you have other palettes you haven't used yet that you had before this one that I need to use. But I do have, another look in mind for this. I'm pretty sure that I do. So this is look number 5. What I will say, every look I've done with this palette, I'm pretty sure you can do with Mini Xenon. I am not going to deny it. When I look at the pictures, I'm like, could I have done this with this? Yeah, you could have done this with this. Just put the gray underneath and then top it with the black and wing it out. Put this on top and lay over it with that. That's up here. Every look that I've done with this, I do feel like you can do with Mini Xenon, except for when I had this, the first look, which I don't even really want to count because it was just like, girl, why the hell? But, I'm trying new things. This on the lid was pinkish. There's not a pinkish in here, but you can just put this middle shade, don't want to give it a finger, this middle shade just as a substitute. But every look I've done, just about, you can do with just the Mini Xenon. And so if you don't want to have the different variations of gray, if you don't really care about the different wet effects and all of that, then just get the Mini Xenon and you can do those looks. Another thing I saw when I was looking at my gallery on my phone, I didn't see it. I didn't see it at first, but when I saw the picture, I'm like, wait a minute. This is, I think, one look with this palette. This is MAC Connecting Color Encrypted Kryptonite. I don't even know if that video is live yet. This is what it looks like. There's a look I did with the Mini Xenon, the MIDI Xenon, that looked almost like this. I wouldn't have thunk it. I would have thunk it with, yeah, it makes sense. I would have thunk it with, the Mini Xenon, but then Mini Xenon looks like the MIDI, right? So it makes sense. Duh, troll. But looking at these, they look like they would be different. I'm trying to get off the glares. Here we go. There was a look. I'm like, wow. The only difference was the look with MIDI Xenon, the lid was more sparkly because of those sparkly wet effect shades. And again, I know I've said a lot, shimmer, shimmer, wet look, shine, whatever. But that was the only difference between a look I did with the MIDI Xenon and a look I did with Encrypted Kryptonite. And if I remember, I will put the picture up here somewhere so you can see what I'm talking about. And maybe I'll try and do a side-by-side with both of those pictures so you can see what I'm talking about. But this is Encrypted Kryptonite, and you do have more variety. You have the shimmer black, you have a brown, you got the taupey, you got the matte pinkish. Is that matte? Yes. The only metallic is the black. This taupey one in the middle right here is more of a satin finish, but everything else in here, this looks like it's a satin finish too, but this looks more satiny than this one. So you have this metallic, you have a satin, these are matte, these are matte. But the looks that I've done, not this look I'm wearing now because of the sparkling shade, but that one look, I'm like, oh my gosh, it looks almost exactly like the Connecting Color Encrypted Kryptonite, except the lid was a whole lot more shiny. But I was surprised at how close it looked. And so I'm saying that there are definitely eyeshadow palettes that you can get that will dupe these vibes if you don't want the variations in gray, if you don't want similar wet effect sparkling foiled shades. But I'm digging it. I'm liking the variation. This to me motivates me and excites me more than this one because this is just 5 shades. And I'm just like, okay, I can look at this and see 3 different looks. I've done 5 so far with this. Again, don't know if I want to count the first one or not, but counting it, I've done 5 looks with this because seeing all the shades, I want to use all the shades multiple times. And so it motivated me, and I still feel motivated to do even more and to see what else I can do with this. And so for me, this is a hell yes. Having this in my collection as a 15-pan palette is very unique to my collection. And y'all know, if you've been here, I like to have what I call a curated and workable collection. Curated meaning everything has a purpose. There's not a lot of dupes within the different palettes. Even though there's possible dupes in here, this palette is not duping another palette that I have. And even though a look was similar to this one, it was only just that one look. And workable meaning, because my collection is small, the palette is going to get worked in to my rotation. So those are my thoughts on this palette. Let me know your thoughts below. I know some of you have already commented, you know, hard pass, or, you know, yes, you like it, or no, and that's fine. And it is really just about personal preferences. And you don't owe anybody an explanation on why you like what you like, because you like what you like, just like I like what I like, and it's okay. So that's going to be it for this video. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you again, fam, for that idea, suggestion, not quite a request, but I took it as one. So this is our reverse smoky eye with the Natasha Denona Xenon palette, and I'm still excited for it. Thank you for being here. Lots of information below. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and do that. If you're curious about joining, there's a link to see what the perks are. There's a lot of links down below for your shopping ease. Most are affiliated, a few are not. And yeah, we're going to leave that there. And for those of you who have been shopping my links and using my referral codes, thank you very much. I do appreciate it. Everything that comes in, do I have lipstick on my teeth? I don't have lipstick on my teeth. Everything that does come in, it does go back into purchases for, you know, makeup and stuff that you're going to see here. I can say that for a fact. And so I do appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you to my new subscribers who are here. And we're going to leave this here. As always, what? Self-acceptance, self-love. That is the Crazy Troll Nation way. Thank you, and you will see me soon.